So let's get a little bit deeper into our prayers on Rosh Hashanah. That obviously those of you who are attending in the morning are listening to Rabbi Geffen explaining the Siddur and getting you ready for the actual Rosh Hashanah. There's a Gemara on Masechet Rosh Hashanah that Rav Dessler brings, and the Gemara says like this: Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Malchus. Malchus means kingship. Divrei Rabbi Yossi. Those are the words of Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Eina Malchus. It's not Malchus. So, there seems to be Tanaim who disagree on what is Malchus, which means not just what pasuk do we recite, but what is the etzem avoida of Malchus. We're supposed to say Hamelech, that God is our king. Okay. But are we living that, we talked about this, are we living as if God is our king? Or are we living as if we're in charge and, he can do whatever he wants? So, Rabbi Yossi says, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord, our God, the Lord is one. That is Malchus. That we are accepting that God is our king. Rabbi Yehuda says, that isn't. Right now, we don't know really the argument. We understand what they're saying, but we can't understand what's behind their statement. And the Gemara continues, Ve'adata hayom, ve'ashivot levavecha, ki Hashem hu Elokim en oy. The pasuk also that we say in Aleinu l'shabeach, and you shall know today, and you shall bring it into your hearts, for the Lord is God, there is no other. Malchus, divrei Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says that's also Malchus. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Eina Malchus. It's not Malchus. Malchus is kingship. It's not kingship. So now you're all waiting for the other shoe to drop because you want to hear, okay, so if it's not Malchus, what is Malchus, Mr. Rabbi Yehuda? Ata heret al hadat, ki Hashem hu Elokim en od milvadoi, Malchus divrei Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, eina Malchus. That pasuk also is not Malchus. Okay, so the argument is, at least in the Gemara, seems simple. 3 psukim are brought. Rabbi Yossi says each one is Malchus, and Rabbi Yehuda says no, it isn't. Okay, so if we were Amaratim, if we were just people who were learning surface level, we would say, oh great, nice. What's next? But we understand that Tanaim, rabbis, when they say something, there's something much deeper they're trying to point out. And so, says Rav Dessler, they are arguing about 2 delicate aspects of kingship. So, one of the aspects of Malchus that we all, at least on one level, can understand is that we should have fear of God. What makes a king is that he can execute you and throw you in jail. You don't have rights other than those conferred by the king. There's no habeas corpus. There's no, I have a bill of rights. I have the right to remain silent. No, you don't. Nope. And so, what is this fear of God as Malchus, as king? How does it operate? How does it show itself? So he says there is fear that brings a person to push off fulfilling his desires. Okay? The simplest example that I could think of, right, is that when you were a kid and you had dinner, and then you wanted a cookie, and your parents had no cookies after dinner, you're going to bed. And now you really want the cookie. But you're not going to take it. Why not? Because your father is going to make you into a piñata. No, Avi? So your mother was the violent one?
I got smacked more by her than that.
Okay, that's our kind of girl. You forgot the word around. Smacked around. Smacked, it sounds, we want like piñata,
Pinata? Well,
No, we're not doing confessions online. No, we're not doing that. That's going to be, people are calling it, hey, what happened to that guy? Show his face. But we can understand there's a level of fear. I'll give you another example of fear. Shaya, you're driving, okay? You got your seatbelt on, you're driving. It's 2 a.m., and all of a sudden the cop pulls right behind you. You're the only car there, he's just following you. Right? What's going on inside? Fear! What are you fearing? What's he going to do? Shoot you? What's the worst thing? Oh, handcuff. You and your fantasies. What?
That's what happened to me.
What they're going to do, is they're going to give you a ticket.
I got detained.
You got detained. I would detain you too if I were the cop. Why were you detained?
Probably because I ran 2 red lights or something.
Something.
That's what they said. Like, I didn't see any of them in the back when I was doing it.
Okay. See, I have to remind everyone that this is the wrong religion if you want to confess sins. We don't do confession of sins.
So what's me doing that?
Not to me. You don't do it to a rabbi. You do it between you and Hashem. You don't come to 3 o'clock and share all your criminal activities. Child abuse, this guy,
How was that abuse? Oh. I want to get that clear.
It wasn't abuse. Okay. You liked it. You said, Mom, can I please have another? So, we can understand that level of fear. We can understand that. That we postpone to fulfill our desires because of what we're fearing is going to happen to us. But they're still there. They're still there. For example, a person might have a desire to eat pork. He really wants to. Right, you hear me? But on the side that he would. So then the question is, what does he do with that desire? Is it completely gone and removed from him? Or is just because of his fear of Hashem, he's being a good boy? That's a level of Moira's Malchus, fear of kingship, of God. Okay? And then there is a higher level of fear. Some people want to translate that word, not fear, but awe. Not like freak out, just awe. You guys don't know 70s music? Awe, freak out.
Is it AWE or AWW?
Yes. No, AWE. AWE.
Yeah, okay. They're two different ones.
Correct. So what happens when you have a higher level of Moira Malchus? You reach a level where the desire to sin is gone. The desire to do evil is gone.
How do you get to that level?
How do you get to that level? You're not at that level.
No.
You have the desire to sin.
Well, no, not necessarily what I'm saying. You're saying that.
Wait a second. I'm just
you
following
don't have
the...
the desire to sin.
You don't have the desire to sin.
No.
So you got rid of it.
But I'm
You
saying-
can't have both ways, Tzaddik.
What do you mean you can too?
I
Somebody
can too.
A person can too. Somebody can be like afraid of sin, but still
Have the desire.
Yeah, have a desire.
And he has, or he removed, let's say sin is a big category. So let's take a typical sin. Saxton. What would be a typical sin? Lashon hara. Good. So you hear a good, juicy story. Oh, with all the trimmings. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? You have the desire to go, hey man, you got to hear this. You won't believe what Yitzchak did. Oh my God. And so, but you say, Kadosh Baruch Hu, no Lashon hara. So, and your buddy opens it and goes, what? What is it? No, I can't, it's Lashon hara, it's not Hashem. So it's like, just hint, like pantomime it. I'm like, no, I'm not speaking Lashon hara. But the desire is there. Okay? So that's one option. Or, etzem, once you are in a situation where you see something that is going to be Lashon hara, you close your eyes, turn around, go home. Shabbat shalom. And then you don't have the desire for Lashon hara. So what are you talking about? It's either A or B. You can't have A and B. You have the desire, but you removed it.
Not a desire, but more of like an inclination. It's not a desire. You don't desire. I don't think anybody really desires to sin. At least most God-fearing people don't desire to sin
No?
themselves. I don't think so. I hope not.
So why do they sin? Where does that come from?
Because the inclination.
The inclination to do, yes, but that's coming because of a desire is ratzon. They want to. Nobody finds himself all of a sudden in the, little Porky's pork shop with a pork chop in his mouth. And go, I don't know how this happened.
I said God-fearing person, though. So Lashon hara is a perfect example, actually, because it's something that is extremely hard to really know all the laws and everything with it, right?
No. No. It's not that hard.
It's pretty hard.
No.
I've learned Chavetz time. It's really hard.
I don't think so. I think that if you understand that talking about other people and saying things about them that have no reason to say because there's no benefit to anything or anyone, it's probably not to speak about people. Let's talk about ideas. That's a basic rule. So we don't have to, yes, if you get down to all the practical,
That's what I'm talking about.
then, but if you have a general concept of, I don't talk about people. I will only talk about somebody when it's a letoelas. It's for the benefit of the person. Because let's say you find somebody is doing something, and the rabbis, if they knew, they would help this person. They would tell them, listen, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Listening to that type of music while showering is Isser, right? Whatever. So that is the toilet. But other times, to talk about people, there's no real point. Just don't talk about people. Don't. So I'm not so sure what chiluk you're making that. By the way, just a general question. If you have two individuals, one of them has desires, but is in full control of them. They never get control of him. And the other one, remove them all. He doesn't desire anything that Hashem doesn't want. Which one is higher? The one with desires is a higher level than the one that got rid of them. Yes, Hoodie? Anybody else? Yes, Andrew.
Did he have the second one have the desire in the first place and they're gone?
Yes.
Then
You removed them.
Then I would think that. If you work to remove them.
That's better. The rest of you are just following along. Yes? Oh, Baruch Hashem.
I think the one that has the desires but chooses not to is on a higher level, because the one with no desires, well, he may have worked to get rid of them. Once they're gone, they're gone. So then he's not going to be held to like the standard of you have desires and he already did that. He did the work, it's done. Good job. But like the one who still has desires is still struggling, is still fighting.
So you should have kept the desires to stay up.
Daniel, you with us? זה שאתה מקשיב זה לא אומר שאתה איתנו. So this question is brought in Shmona Prakim to the Rambam. And he says it's really not a question. Because you have to ask what sin. Some sins we should not have at all. At all. The desire to kill people should not be part of your battle against the Yetzer Hara or Hashem. Right? Incest should not be a desire that you should have. Right? If you have incestuous desires, right, we've got serious issues. Moshe. Right? You agree with me? Baruch Hashem. I'm glad nobody asked me to define incest. What? It's when a person has desires to have intimacy, sexual intimacy, with close relatives. Is that an issue? But there are other desires that are normal to have. For example, it's normal to be attracted to the opposite sex and to have the desire to be with one. Nikuda. Not one at a time, that's a normal, healthy desire. Right? If you don't have that normal, healthy desire, please see your local psychiatrist to find out what's wrong. No? Alan? So it depends on what desire we're talking about. There's some desires that are normal to have, and they need to be under control. And some desires are absolutely wrong. Right? If you have the desire to commit mass murder, that's a problem. That's not like, well, he's always been killing things when he was a kid, Cats and squirrels would disappear in the neighborhood. You got a problem. Okay? That guy should not be anywhere near a clock tower. Okay? So Malchus is to affect our level of Yira or Mora, Malchus, to fear God, in one of the two ways. Either that we are postponing the things that we desire because of our awe or fear of Hashem. Hence, we might want to stay in bed and sleep, but it's 7:15. Minyan starts at 7:30, so I get up. It doesn't matter what I desire to keep sleeping. Good, shkoyach. I'll sleep later. When? I don't know. And so there's also a level of serving Hashem not from fear, but from ahava, from love. Because we love Hashem, we serve him. And it's a completely different mahalach. Okay? Outside of Jeremy, how many of you are married? Okay? So Jeremy, how long have you been married?
6.5 months.
6.5 months. Are you afraid of your wife?
Getting there. We just got an apartment, so things are better.
But there are things that you know you can't do because you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Correct? That's one type of motivation. But there is another mahalach of, oh, I won't do that because I love her. And that fear doesn't play. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. It's just, I don't want to do this because I care for her. I love her, and therefore, I'm going to be a good boy. I'm going to come to class, take notes, share. And so, serving Hashem ba'ava, there is no feeling of someone forcing you. With fear, there is a feeling of something, someone, the power of Hashem, forcing you. To what? To pray, to put on tefillin, to keep Shabbos, to keep your eyes where they need to belong, to keep your hands where they need to be, and so on and so forth. That's fear. But from Ava, there's no aspect, there's nothing that is pushing you. It comes from the inside. One of the things that I think it's a big blessing for me is that I love learning Gemara. To open a Gemara for me, nobody has to tell me. Nobody has to like, hey, you really need to do Chazara. No, I wake up in the morning and as soon as I can, I sit and learn. I enjoy it. It's fun. But I'm doing it because I love the Gemara. I understand what Hashem is doing in the Gemara. He's talking to us through the oral Torah, which is the Gemara. And I'm strengthening the relationship that I have with Hashem. And it makes Hashem happy that I'm learning. And that's what I want to do. Why? Because I love Hashem. He doesn't have to threaten me to say, if you don't learn Torah, I will make you into a frog. No, it's not. That's not it. So there's a different mahalach when you are serving Hashem me'ava, and therefore your malchuyos, when you're coming to accept Hashem as a king, you're coming from a place of loving Hashem as opposed to fearing Hashem. Yes?
So in terms of like this whole desire thing and like the Yeshivat Ohr, for like the Jew who is connected and he is observant, who was like born gay, for example. I just want to state that I'm not gay.
You're not gay, but you're asking for a friend.
But I'm saying for like an irreligious Jew.
Why do you do? Well, we're not doing Q&A.
It's on the topic.
It's on the topic. Yes. Rav Dessler is talking about gay. Fine, go ahead.
Okay, so
Let's ask your question about your gay friend.
religious and cares about like following Hashem's
Yes.
laws and who is born gay.
Yes.
Like,
What does that mean, born gay?
You don't choose to be gay.
You don't?
No.
You have a source for that?
You don't choose to be attracted to women. You just naturally are. You don't say, I
Really?
want to be attracted to women.
Interesting.
Do you not agree with that? You say,
I'm not taking a position for or against until you finish the question.
Okay, well, the question is for someone who is religious and observant and wants to follow the decrees, who, okay, in my opinion, who was born gay. Isn't that, if he is born, isn't that such an
If he is born. So we're talking about a fetus that is gay, that wasn't born yet, but was...
Like, isn't that unfair, a challenge on him who has to, like, be with the sex that he's disgusted by, and, like what's the understanding behind God's decision here, or, like...
So,
I don't really know.
this has nothing to do with what we're learning.
What's a desire that you
Wait,
desire?
Tzaddik. Let's slow down. Let's break your question into several pieces. The first, according to the Ari, according to the Ari Kadosh, the Ari says that there are people who are gay who were born with that desire. They are not choosing it. They were simply born with it. There's a reason for that, why they were born this way. I don't want to get into it. But he accepts your premise. And there's a source for it, that's what he says. Okay? But that doesn't mean that every person who is with men is necessarily born this way. There are individuals that are sort of exploring or more open, or because of whatever else is going on, confusion about who they are. They sort of, so I want to make that distinction. But we're taking your extreme case. A person that was born and he is a servant of Hashem. Good. Now, I usually don't confess in front of a live studio audience being taped to I don't know how many billions of people. But I'm attracted to 20-year-old blonde girls. Okay? But Matalon, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no. Desires are one thing. Now, there is no sin of being gay. What is usher, what the problem is the sexual act with a male. That is what the Torah forbids. So if a person is gay, and that's their desire so it is a terrible toll to carry. It must be very, very difficult. What are you doing? I'm being serious. What?
I thought you were insulting me.
I'm insulting you.
I thought that's what you
I'm answering him seriously. I'm taking a...
No, this is a really good answer.
Jeremy, can you help me here? I'm married, I'm staying out of it. She's not going to watch the shear, don't worry. So listen, I'm not making a joke out of this. It's a serious situation. So if you have somebody that his sexual orientation is as such that he cannot fulfill his physical desires, that's a very difficult yoke to carry in life. But that's what Hashem said. That's what Hashem said. And he has to deal with that. Which means that either he would see if I know there's type of therapies that maybe work, maybe don't work. I know it's controversial. I don't know enough about it. To say whether it's good or not good or whatever it is. But the point is, being gay is not the problem. Being somebody who loves basar b'chalav, right, or eating pork, or doing things that are usr, right, that's not the problem. The problem is acting that way. So as long as the person doesn't act, as far as I'm concerned, he's as Oved Hashem as I am. How to channel, now you could say, Rabbi, okay, 20-year-old blondes, but you could still channel your desires in halachically appropriate ways. He can't because of whatever, it's too difficult, it's too whatever, you had a different term for it. It's disgusting, whatever it is. So that he has that burden. But I'm not belittling that burden. It's difficult, but everybody has packages that they carry, some burdens and issues that they have.
Can you get married, for example?
With a woman?
Yeah.
If the woman understands what the situation is, and she's no Bukharian jokes.
Oh, really? She's Persian.
What about Persians?
No, the Shirazi women sometimes are married too. what my brother told me.
Your brother told
The
you.
older one.
The older one. How does he know?
I've been with them. I don't know.
Oy vavoy. You're throwing your older brother under the bus. No. We don't continue. Let's leave it.
But now he's married to Ash.
He's married?
Yeah.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So, if the woman that wants to marry understands what the situation is and they are committed to work, then yeah, he has to be open with his wife about this. But the tikkun is, only through Torah learning this can be fixed. That's what the Ari says.
With getting married, like you have to see your wife. You can't just show the other. You might bring to after the
No.
if you're unattracted. So for sure, in this case, he's obviously not attracted.
Attraction is not only physical. Attraction could be on a much higher level. There's sometimes you run into people that the husband is a really good-looking guy, and you look at the wife and you go, "Oh, it happened over here." But he finds her attractive in a different way. Not everybody, as my wife tells me, not everybody's as superficial as you. So I go, okay, whatever. Okay, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to say anything other than I'm not gay? You could say it louder. Still, I don't believe you now. Shaya, where did he go? He ran. He just ran. Okay, Avi, what's up?
See, can you love Hashem with
All your
can
heart?
you, no, sorry. So can you serve him out of love, but also have fear? Like, can't they coincide, or it has?
So that's a very good question. And when you're back. Good. While you were left, you might want to watch the video because something happened while you were gone.
30 minutes in.
Sorry, I wasn't me. Well, your question is a very good question. And without looking at what Rav Dessler says in the next few lines, you could say there could be a situation of 60-40, 30-70, which means that it sort of fluctuates. I could see that on a theoretical level, that the fear is the motivating factor of my avodas Hashem in sort of 70% of the cases, and 30% is real love. Or afuch.
Well, let me say it like this: the mitzvahs that I do, I feel like I do out of love, but when I'm staying away from averos, I'm doing out of fear.
So try to work on not having the desire to do aver because you love Hashem. Work on it. That's the key. Okay. The Ava should be that we have only one ratzon, one desire. To what? Fulfilling the ratzon of Hashem. What does Hashem want? This question is probably going to change your life if you apply it whenever you have a suffix. Be'ezer Hashem, you'll get married, do that with a woman. And hopefully she'll agree with your little problem. So that when you're going to have a conflict, an argument with her, you'll have this question in mind. What does Hashem want? And if your argument is about what Hashem wants, that is, you think Hashem wants you to do A, and she thinks Hashem wants you to do not A, then that's simple. You don't need to fight. Go to a Rav. Say, Rav, We have a machlokes. I think that Hashem wants us to do this, and she thinks that. And the Rav will tell you it's like this. And it's done. Otherwise, what are you going to argue about? She wants the toilet paper like this, and you want it like that. Let her have it. It's her house. You just live there. It's her rishus. You have a conflict with your roommate. He wants loud music and you don't want loud music. Ask, what does Hashem want? Does he want us to fight? For sure not. So, you should give in. Just give in. You know what? It's okay. You want to play for another hour? So, if you come from a perspective that I'm just trying to fulfill what Hashem wants. Even when it comes against my own wishes. What's wrong? What's so funny? You're battling. You're battling and laugh. He's like, do you want to confess anything? No, Rabbi, no. I got nothing. Okay. Any other questions? So when are you flying out? Tonight. Safe flight. Okay, Beseda. Let's stop here and we'll get ready for Mincha.